Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. We'll call the meeting to order. It's about 6:04. And in terms of roll call, all the board members are present, including the three newly elected who will take their oath of office in a minute. And if we would, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Angus, would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item, 1.04, to be acted on, we don't have a district clerk, and we do not have one to appoint at this time, so we can't take action on that. And so 1.05 is the oath of office. This is where I take an oath, and then the three new board members take an oath. Because we don't have a district clerk, legal counsel is allowed to administer the oath of office. And Melissa's brother-in-law is here, who's also an attorney, will administer the oath of office for her. So Mr. Thompson, who's first? Okay.
Repeat after me. I, Douglas S. Adams,
I, Douglas S. Adams,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of superintendent of schools
that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the superintendent of schools
in the Suffern Central School District according to the best of my ability.
for the Suffern Central School District according to the best of my abilities. Keep track of these.
I'll summarize them. Please raise your right hand. And repeat after me. I, Donald Cairns,
I, Donald Cairns,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the State of New York
that I will support the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State, the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New
the
York,
Constitution of the United States, and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of member of the Board of Education
as a member of the Board of Education
of the Suffern Central School District
of the Suffern Central School District
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Now, raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Angus McKenzie,
I, Angus McKenzie,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of member of the Board of Education
of member of the Board of Education
of the Suffern Central School District
of the Suffern Central School District
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Raise your right hand, repeat after me, please. I, Melissa Rima,
I, Melissa Raymer,
do solemnly swear or
1.06, election of Board of Education President. I open up the floor for any motions to nominate somebody for Board President. Paul Shapiro.
I nominate Matthew Kern.
There's been a motion to nominate Matthew Kern, Paul Shapiro. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, there's a second by Tom Donnelly. Is there any discussion?
Should be after motion.
Seeing none, the vote before the board is the nomination of Matthew Kern
Wait,
to be.
I want to nominate. Yeah, I want to nominate Amani.
Oh, I've got to act on the first motion first,
I'm
and then we'll go to the second. Okay.
Thank you.
So the motion before the board is to nominate Matthew Kern to be the board president. Seeing no further discussion, I'll call the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
3 affirmative, nay.
Nay, nay.
I abstain.
3 nays,
4 names.
I abstain.
3 and an abstention.
Oh, sorry.
Not receiving 4 votes, the motion fails. We still have pending before the board the election of Board of Education President. Are there any motions for, Melissa?
I nominate Amani Dagim for board president.
There's a motion to nominate Amani as board president. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Carnes, there's a second. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'll call this to a vote. All those in favor of Amani as the board president, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Amani, did you say? Okay.
We'd like to.
Okay. 4 ayes, and those opposed?
Nay. Nay.
Nays. Okay. And no abstentions. Okay, Amani, congratulations. You are the Board of Education President. In England.
So you have to.
Aye, ayes.
Bear with me, there is no training specific for board president. I will do the best I can, being that I was just thrusted in the seat. And I will start by saying I appreciate the vote of confidence and look forward to working with everyone. And look forward to an amazing, wonderful year for Suffern Central and for our students and community. So with that in mind, we will proceed with our reorg. Speaker is. You can hear me. Hopefully it'll continue to work. So I'll repeat what I said. I thank everybody for the vote of confidence. Another mic. Sorry.
Stay long.
We can hear you. Apologize about that. And I look forward to working with every single member of this board who is giving up their time to serve personally. I'm just thrusted in the seat and honored to serve. So we'll do our best here. We move on to the next reorg item, which is the election of the Board of Education Vice President. The floor is open for a motion to nominate a Vice President for the 2018-19 school year. Melissa?
I make a motion for Angus McKenzie for Board of Ed's Vice President.
Do we have a second for this motion?
Second.
All those in favor of Angus McKenzie? Any discussion? I apologize, thank you. Any discussion? Any discussion? No discussion, being that I see no discussions, we will move on to full vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 4. All those against, say nay.
Okay.
The motion carries. The next item is the appointment of the Rockland County School Boards Association delegate. In discussions with our incoming and returning board members, we have decided to attend Rockland County School Board Association delegate meetings on a rotating schedule. We will put together that schedule as it works out for everybody, but we always want to have representation. Nevertheless, the Rockland County School Board requires a point of contact, hence the delegate position appointment, and I will be appointing myself as in the past the board president was the point of contact, so that would be myself. But the rotating schedule will work on together shortly, okay, so that we don't miss any of their meetings. Okay, the next item is the appointment of New York State School Board Association Legislative Liaison, and that will also be myself as it relates to our advocacy effort, the ongoing advocacy effort. Item 1.10 is appointment of the Audit Committee. As you all understand, as per policy, the president makes those appointments. The appointment will be, this is a 3-member committee. That was also a decision that was discussed preliminary with everyone to move to a 3-member format with consultation with Mr. Thompson. We're going to test that format this year as opposed to a committee of the whole. Does anybody wish to discuss that matter at all before we make the appointments? Everybody's good? The appointment will be Mr. Matthew Curran, Mr. John Cairns, and Ms. Melissa Reamer as chair. The next appointments are for our policy committee. This is also a committee represented as 3 board members. The 3 board members will be myself, Mr. John Cairns, and Mr. Matthew Curran as chair. The next appointment will be the Advocacy Committee. This will include Mr. Angus McKenzie, Mr. Thomas Donnelly, and myself as chair. The appointment of IEP reviewers. You both have accepted this responsibility, Mr. Angus McKenzie and Ms. Melissa Reamer. We will look into a format of an electronic IEP report. Perfect, to avoid the courier. Right, to avoid the courier deliveries. So you're gonna work with Dr. Adams on how you're gonna receive the reports and share questions or any concerns. The way this works is you are only 2 delegated by the board to review the reports, and then the board votes on it at the subsequent meeting. Okay. Finally, the appointment to the Strategic Planning Committee, Mr. Paul Shapiro, Ms. Melissa Reamer, and Mr. Angus McKenzie as chair. Congratulations, everyone, and thank you for your service. In addition to committees of the board, which all of the above have been committees of the board, there are committees in the district, which are administrative committees, where board members represent the school board on the committee. So this is a little different. It's not a committee of the board, but with board representation. Those two committees currently are the Safety and Security Committee. We would like our retired police officers and detectives to serve us on this committee and represent us, Mr. Tom Donnelly and Detective Angus McKenzie. Thank you for accepting that role. On the School Health and Wellness Committee Coalition, I will continue to serve as being the only position on the board currently as representing the school board. So those are our final committees for now. We are pulling some items from the reorg in order to take separate action on those. And these are items, does everyone have a copy of these? The reorg 2.01 up to 2.07 are being pulled and we're taking action. Right, we're taking 2.07, 2.01 to 2.07 to take action now. And then delaying the rest. Is that okay? Is everyone ready to act on 2.01 to 2.07? Okay. Changing that, 2.01 to 2.06. These were posted as they will be acted on, so they're ready for action. 2.01 to 2.06, not 07. If you recall, there were some blanks that you inquired about. That's why we're taking separate action. Is everyone ready to act on 2.01 to 2.06? Okay. Make a motion to act on as consent agenda on 2.01 to 2.06. Anyone? Is there a motion? Angus McKenzie. A second?
Second.
Paul Shapiro. All those in favor, say aye, please. Okay, unanimous, aye. This is the president's biggest flaw, I think, forgetting to vote. I have to remember to do that. Not to forget to vote. And then starting 2.07, we're going to have some corrections to make. Dr. Adams will advise us what names to put in these items.
2.07 had previously been the Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources. Since you'll be acting upon that resignation in the regular meeting, the person that's most qualified to do this and has done this in prior districts is Anthony Cachera. So I recommend to the board Anthony Cachera to be the payroll certification officer. Are there any questions for me on that?
2.08 is good. Did not have a vacancy. Could have done consent on that one. 2.09 is also okay. 2.10 has been completed. 2.11 is okay. 2.12?
Item 212 is appointment of VASA coordinators, and those are the building principals, but the assistant superintendent for HR has been the person in the past that's been responsible for overseeing those. And the person I'd like to recommend to the board is Dr. Lisa Costello.
Any questions regarding 2.12? We're moving on to 2.13.
2.13 is the identification of the lead evaluators for 18-19. Again, it's building principals, it's myself, there's a number of people that you see listed in there, but the assistant superintendent for HR is also one of those listed, and I would recommend that Lee Weber be the person to replace that position until we find the assistant superintendent for HR. She's already listed, so we can just leave that, dispense with that one. Okay?
Thank you.
Great. And 2.14?
1.5 and 1.6.
And 1.5 and 1.6 are ready. They were already posted complete. 2.17?
The attendance officer, I would recommend that Lee Weber is assigned that.
Any questions? Go ahead.
And the records management officer, in a lot of respects, Eric Rizzo is responsible for that, and Lee oversees Eric, so Lee would be the person I would recommend for that.
2.18 is, okay. Okay.
2.19 is the Title IX coordinator. I've asked Lee to do that as well.
2.20?
That's okay.
2.21 is suspension hearing officer.
I would ask Lisa Costello to be in that position.
2.22 is ready. 2.23 is also ready.
Yes.
2.24
Yes.
is ready. 2.25.
2.25 indicates that the information will be housed in the HR office, so it's hard to get around that one, but I would ask Lisa Costello to be responsible for that until such time there's an appointment.
Any questions? 2.26 is ready, and 2.27,
2.26 I have.
yes.
I have,
So we could pull that item and vote on the rest. So you'd like to pull 2.26
please,
for a question?
yes.
Okay. 2.27, everyone's ready to vote on that. 2.28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Everybody's ready to vote on those?
2.37. Pull that piece of
You'd
paper.
like to pull that out?
What do we pull?
2.37.
Cell phone users?
Tuition rates. Right.
And 2.37.
137.
Is that all everybody's pulling? So I'd like a consent agenda to vote on the following items, starting with 2.07. Up to item 2.40, excluding 2.37,
2.26.
double checking, as well as 2.26. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, Paul, thank you.
Second.
All those in favor, any discussion, sorry? Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Everybody, unanimous, aye as well. Thank you. Okay, so. Okay, so going back to 2.26. We would like a motion to adopt 2.26. Any motion? Then the discussion. Is there a motion to adopt 2.26?
So moved for discussion purposes.
Paul, Mr. Terrence. Is a second and discussion. Any discussion?
Thank you. Because I had so much time on my hands, I went through and I looked at some of the schools that are surrounding our district that are private schools, religious and non-secular. And I just put together, I have the backup of the sheets that I put together, but I just made like a quick spreadsheet. Thank you. I would have emailed it, but I just didn't. Sorry. Basically, I looked at different websites to see what tuition rates were in the schools that are surrounding us. Some of the religious schools are lower in tuition rates because they hope that when these children are educated, that they're always going to donate money as they get older. So their tuition rates are usually less. And then I took like schools that are around our area that are non-secular, Green Meadow, which I believe is non-secular, Rockland Country Day, Blue Rock School, Bride Country Day. So I looked at schools that are in Rockland County, that are in Westchester County, and even in the Bronx, Horace Mann, and Trinity School. And I put together the list. You can see on the far right of the page all of the tuition rates that there are. So there's a big difference. So Sacred Heart, for instance, is $6,350 for a year for a child, and going all the way to Horace Mann, which is in the Bronx. It's a 5-star school. That's a private school. That's $48,600 a year. So I think that our rates for being competitive are fabulous, but I think that they're not doing justice for the taxpayers. Because any revenue that we can bring in can keep taxes low or have zero tax effect for the taxpayers. So I do believe that we need to raise the non-resident tuition rates. Right now, we're charging $7,000 for K through 5 and $11,000 for 6 through 12. And I was trying to think of ways that maybe people who have already signed up for the following year, we leave the rates the way they were so that we're not, shocking anybody, or if they were already enrolled in our school district. But this is just, it was just an idea that maybe we raise the rate to say 10,000 and 15,000 or something like that. But anywhere in between $6,350 and $48,600. So there's a really big range that we can go with. And if you think about the taxpayer, we're paying taxes every year for our homes. It might be beneficial for some people to think that, I can get the same education at a cheaper rate. And I don't think that's fair for the taxpayer.
So
Okay, Matt?
My first comments would be, and this would be to you, Dr. Adams, the question. Do you know off the top of your head, estimate, or even the exact number of students in the district that are tuitioning right now?
12.
12 total.
Yes, and 7 applications pending.
Now, we lowered the rates a couple of years ago.
We did.
Do you recall, because I don't off the top of my head, what they were before we lowered them?
I do not.
Because to me, I mean, I agree if you can get more, lessen the burden, that's great, but, and I think the grand scheme, we're talking about 12 current students. And personally, I don't look at tuition in as a revenue stream. I look at it as incentive for students to begin learning in our district with the hope that the families will move to the district. So my only concern would be that if we only have 12 students now and 7 pending, so a total of 19, if we raise the rate, is that number going to drop even more?
I believe that if you already have the students in the school district, the parent is not going to want to move that child to a different school district.
But if the parent doesn't live here, which is if they don't, they're paying tuition in. If they have to pay more, at some point, they're going to say to themselves, why am I paying X to send my child to a public school? I mean, there's a breaking point for everybody, so I would be curious to look in to see what that truly is, especially if you're talking about under 20 students.
Right, but we're hoping to get more students and do more expensive.
Yes, and again, I mean, I guess I would be concerned that raising the rates would prohibit people from coming in. So that number may not go up, it may move back down. Right, that's a possibility. Right?
I think we need to research the numbers again, go back and
So,
evaluate what numbers we were able to
That's what I
attract
would say do.
and the revenue, right?
You know, before we take any kind of action, I think we need to look and see where we were previously, how many students we had under the old rates, the higher rates, and has that number in fact gone up since we lowered the rate?
But has there been any different advertising in that?
Well, that is a
Yeah.
completely different question.
Right, but that's what this was based on, that they were going out and doing an advertising of different places to
Yeah.
get more students. And I'm just saying that the rate is even lower than, you know, any of these other schools. You know, like, there are certain parents that cannot send their children to religious school. So they don't really have a choice in where they're gonna go. So I think that there's not really many private schools in this area.
I think we need to hear from the rest of the board too,
My
so, right?
recommendation again would be to look and see what we do that impact.
Okay, Angus?
Well, I also think that we have to look at the other side of the coin also.
Can you speak up?
This microphone's not working properly. I think we also have to look at the other side of the coin also. How many people are we losing in terms of people that were Suffern residents that would now be willing to move to like another area, say in New Jersey, where they would be paying less taxes and then tuition their kids into Suffern at the lower rate. So you're losing people also by having that lower rate.
Has anybody looked at that?
I have a friend of mine who actually said that he was looking into moving to Mahwah because he could pay less in taxes there
Right.
and tuition his kid for the same thing and live in a house.
I've heard people say that as well. I'm just curious if we know if it's ever happened.
Well, I'm telling you that there's somebody that's looking into it now. That's,
But do we know if there's anybody that's actually moved that sends their kids to Suffern? We used to live in Suffern.
I didn't take a census of everybody.
I think we may want to get a survey
Okay,
before we take those
so
conversations.
I'd like to invite other comments before we move. Mr. Karen?
You know, Suffern school system is one of the best in the area. I believe it's number 26 according to newspapers and so forth. So, you know, the idea that you want students, parents to have their students come here, and then because they're coming here, they're going to move from Mahwah or Tuxedo, okay, to come to some video. And I make a motion.
And I make a motion, we get new microphones. So,
right, basically, okay, what's the idea? You're actually giving people who don't live in the district the opportunity to send their children at a reduced cost when people in the Suffern district are paying all that extra money. It just doesn't make economic sense. And a lot of people today are really concerned about the budget. Why, if we lose a few students from Tuxedo, okay, I don't think that's really going to impact us that much. But you really should raise the price on tuition for students who are coming here.
Okay, Mr. Shapiro, please.
Okay, no, I'm gonna be like Don. He and I both talk, so we can project when we have to. I think what Melissa has done is great. Okay, you've done research on that. You're welcome. But as you said, we should probably keep it the way it is now, because we don't want to all of a sudden to now shock parents into saying, okay, we're now going from 7 to 10 or 7 to 12, and we're not going from 11 to 15 or 17 or 18, but we now have a good 6 or 7 months to really look into this and really take a strong look and see where will we get the best bang for the bucks that are coming in, and yet not scare people away, but still be attractive enough for people who live outside of the Suffern Central area to send their students here. They're not going to get a better education than they're getting here, for sure. And I don't care if you go to Horace Mann, you know, Horace Mann has that reputation, even when I was a kid. I'm sure it's not that good. You don't remember me when I was a kid?
Mr. Donnelly, any comments?
No, I would just say that I think if we're going to address this issue, I think it's obvious that more homework has to be done.
Yes.
And, you know, I think then we can, when we actually see figures and have some basis here, we can go from there. But I think there's plenty of time to address this.
So in conclusion, thank you very much for this research. This is a really good start to get us on the steps of analyzing this. We've talked about this, and it's good to start, you know, getting some data back from the administration and compare to other schools, whether private or other public schools in the county.
And also suggest that basically we also look at the marketing of the Suffern School District and the cost of that marketing to Tuxedo and Hoboken, and see exactly what students have come in from those areas and what the cost is to the district. It just doesn't make sense of basically having a great district and telling people in other areas, okay, please come to the Suffern School District and you can get a great price and a great education.
Right. Thank you. And so it seems that perfectly we have appointed today to our Strategic Planning Committee, Melissa Reamer, Paul Shapiro, and Angus McKenzie. And that would be the type of work that this committee can work with administration to gather more information and bring it back to the school board so that we can discuss it and look at all the factors and all the elements that affect this decision moving forward. But I would recommend that we are going to have to act on the current tuition, being that we are currently accepting new students into the district for the 18-19 school year. But this is a very important piece of work that we can get started on right away for the following year. Is everybody good with that? Yes.
I call the question, which means we're going to act on the motion.
The motion, thank you. So Mr. Shapiro made a motion.
Well, the motion was made before, so now I'm calling the question.
Calling the question, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those against?
Against?
Mr. Karen? All those?
Did you say aye?
She said yes.
I said yes for just until September 2018.
Yeah.
And then to keep it.
Any abstinence? No. So one, maybe, and aye. Thank you. We'll move forward with the next item that we pulled out, and that was item 2.37, resolution regarding cell phone users. Any motion to pass 2.37? Anybody moving?
Yes.
Paul?
For discussion purposes.
Any second?
Second?
Discussion. This was your.
So, in the process of us being oriented to the school district, Mr. Cairns asked for a cell phone, and we were told that we didn't do that. We didn't give cell phones out to board members, and I just think that it's a good idea for a couple of reasons. One, we were, we were actually sent an email about hooking up the department, well, we say department because that's what I did for many years, but the Board of Education email to our personal phones. And all of that stuff would end up being foilable at the end of the day. So, I mean, I think if we're going to do that and we're going to start using our cell phones for that purpose, that we should all, everybody on this board, for purposes of just that, should be issued a cell phone, and also for the purposes of being able to get in touch on important matters. I think that we should all have that. That's my thought on it.
Any further discussion?
I have just a point. Looking at the cell phones that are issued, I was just questioning, I sent an email earlier about the office workers who have Board of Ed issued cell phones, and they're sitting in an office where they have a landline right next to them. So I was just wondering, is there anybody maybe to cut back costs, because I'm a little, into that. And then if we are going to get cell phones for the board members and the Board of Ed, that maybe there's a way that we can cut back some of those expenses.
Any further comments? Matt?
No,
I'm sorry.
Matt?
Mr. Shapiro, Mr. Kern?
My personal opinion is that I don't believe cell phones are necessary for board members. I think it's an expense that we probably don't need to do. And I mean, I'm perfectly fine using my own phone for board purposes. That's my opinion.
Mr. Shapiro?
No, I agree with Matt. Plus, it would cost a couple of bucks, and that's what we have to look into. Even if we, let's say, took the 2 or 5 or 7 or whatever that are being used at the current moment, we may find out that those people who have them, they need them at certain times. So to take it away from them and then to give it to us, it's not necessarily the best thing to do or even the right thing to do. And then to add a cost of 7 more cell phones, and then the cost of the service and whatever else. I don't know what everyone else's cell phone bill is, but if anyone wants to take care of my cell phone bill, be my guest.
Mr. Cairns?
Basically, when you're in an organization or corporation or whatever, the cost of cell phones, okay, for the group is relatively very inexpensive, okay, because in terms of the numbers. So it's not really that, but I think in terms of the cell phone, as new members, we've been in touch with Albany, with the board up there and so forth, and those are long distance calls going back and forth all the time. I think the cell phones would actually help us as a board, maybe even communicate more, okay, by having them rather than just coming to various meetings and, sitting at a computer or an iPad and, typing back and forth. Cell phone is very handy for, any organization where you have the leadership, okay? Dr. Adams, you have a cell phone, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so any other board members? Dr. Adams, would you like to explain a little bit about cell phone usage in the district and why we need them for the list that you're proposing?
But without identifying names, maybe Melissa could share with me who she thought was listed in here. But some people have dual roles when it comes to inclement weather season. So they may be assigned, they may have a landline in their office, but then they're also out on the roads, so they would need that cell phone. So some people fall into that sort. So to be able to specifically address these names, I would have to know a little bit more. And because some are new to the board, some are relatively new to the board, what may look like on surface just a singular job title, they actually have multiple titles. As to board members having a phone, I don't have a comment on that. I'll stay out of that.
Well, just for the record, Amani, I don't feel that I need another appliance to my duty belt. So I would I would say thank you, but my cell phone, everybody has a number that needs it.
So if I could suggest,
And
if
if I-
Melissa's the chair,
If
those
I,
names with me.
No, I'm good.
if I understand correctly, this list can be approved today and can be altered in the future as well.
Yes.
Right. So, considering if board members or some board members are in need of a cell phone, that's discussion to be had. We can check on cost, and there are other factors to consider with that. You can check with Mr. Thompson on the legality of the foiling issue that Mr. McKenzie brought up. So these are discussions we can continue further. And at this point, we will move on this item. Okay, it's not a motion anymore. It's
I call for the question.
calling for the question, Mr. Shapiro. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those against, nay. Any abstinence? All in favor. Thank you all. Hi, Mr. President. Okay, at this time we ask for a motion to adjourn the reorganization meeting of the Suffern Central School District.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting at this point.
Mr. Karen, thank you. Second,
Second.
Mr. Shapiro. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The meeting adjourned. I would like to ask for a motion to go into executive session. I have to read why we're going into executive session. The chair will entertain a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of reviewing with the attorney of the Board of Education legal issues pertaining to proposed settlement of civil service law, section 75, charges against custodial work. Number 2, reviewing with the superintendent of schools and attorney for Board of Education legal issues pertaining to declaration of emergency at Suffern Middle School for repairs to the premises. Number 3, reviewing with the superintendent of schools and attorney for Board of Education legal issues pertaining to appointment of director of school health services. Number 4, reviewing with superintendent of schools and attorney of Board of Education legal issues pertaining to appointment of director of school health services to conduct an examination of a staff member pursuant to Education Law, section 913. Number 5, reviewing with attorney of the Board of Education proposed settlement of PJ Retail LLC tax Victoria proceeding. Number 6, reviewing with attorney for the Board of Education proposed settlement of TMR Properties LLC tax Victoria proceeding. Number 7, reviewing with the superintendent of schools and attorney for the Board of Education legal issues pertaining to adoption of so-called lunch shaming policy. Number 8, reviewing with the superintendent of schools filling a vacant position of assistant superintendent of human resources. Number 9, reviewing filling a vacant position of district clerk. Number 10, reviewing with attorney of Board of Education legal issues pertaining to pending FOIL requests. Number 11, reviewing with attorney for the Board of Education legal issues pertaining to assessment of utility properties. Number 12, reviewing with coaching assignments for 2018-19 school year. Number 13, reviewing with superintendent of schools and attorney for Board of Education proposed successor agreement with Rampo Association of Aides and Monitors. Number 14, and last, reviewing with attorney for the Board of Education status of federal litigation concerning termination of employment of substitute custodial worker for excessive absences. Do I have a motion?
I move.
Second? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any abstinence? Any nay? Moved. Thank you.